Denzel does not miss. I got super hyped when I heard the sweet and beautiful voice sample that was on Walkin' back in January, and Denzel absolutely spazzing. I knew we were going to get another fire project from him. Mixing in a lot of jazz instrumentals and soulful vocals for the production and sample, Denzel just utilizing many different flows and rhyme schemes that only someone like Denzel can do. Not to mention some of the more low-key sort of lo-fi rap songs that is like Troubles with T-Pain. Oh my god, he does not miss with the features. The features are absolutely wonderful. Rico Nasty, T-Pain, Slow Tie absolutely going crazy on Satoichi, John Wayne being an absolute Denzel hype track. There's just so much to love about this project, and Denzel just continues to be one of the most consistent rappers in the game right now. Honestly, I thought this album had a lot of potential considering some of their singles that had dropped, but the full album is full of just trying to do every type of genre at once on a bloated track list. Lyrics at times didn't really add up to much, and the features sort of outweigh most of the tracks all by themselves. I honestly do think there's some sort of nick in the band because you can clearly hear how much of a drop in quality the newer songs have as compared to the older singles. Really disappointed in this one. PUP is back after their last album, Morbid Stuff, and they bring the sarcasm and anger forward even further on this album in an exciting way. I like the sort of self-awareness that PUP brings out throughout the entire project, a lot of self-deprecation as well, tackling subjects like mental health and having a lot of relatability in the lyrics to just being angry about frustrations in your day-to-day life. PUP songwriting, I believe, has always been a strong suit of their music, especially when they can write a song in 15 minutes that is about a computer being overwhelmed because they start to learn human emotion on the song Robot Writes a Love Song, or a song about the lead singer's favorite guitar given to him by his friend on Matilda. He also uses the exact same guitar and you can hear the change of sound, but it's not really that distracting at all. The absolute creativity that PUP possesses is unmatched. And what a phenomenal closer PUP the Band Incorporated is filing for bankruptcy is. This is the most guy is pissed off about random shit in his life and is so full of snark that the aggression makes you side with him album. But even with the great ending of the verse, we get this amazing guitar work with some of the best solos I've heard in a while. Definitely another solid album in PUP's discography.
You chill with the ops, we is not vibing. If I see him in person, we fox follow him. Yeah, the police is on us, we not stopping. Yeah, the police is on us.
Honestly, I was pleasantly surprised by the quality of this project. A lot of the features are also very compatible with Fivio's signature drill sound, City of Gods being a top tier trap banger with some of the best features of the year from Kanye West and Alicia Keys. What this album suffers from is the normal rap cliche of having too many tracks and not enough thought behind them. But even then, I will give Fivio credit for how versatile he can be at times on this album. Even then, there are a couple of high spots, but the album has a lot of filler behind it, and even then, I still hope Fivio can improve. Incredibly derivative, and I cannot get over Coi Leray's bars and how weak some of her deliveries are. This is an album I cannot stress as not worth the 20 tracks and 50-minute runtime, which even then I was so over this album in the beginning that it felt like 2 hours. Honestly, I wasn't expecting much from this, but I did have a glimmer of hope because Kill the Noise was a better than average single, and in person the song packs a lot of energy. But other than that, it basically suffers from a bad case of commercial rock imposter syndrome. Not to mention that some of the songs just have Jacoby Shaddix spitting weak bars similar to what was on Who Do You Trust, but weirdly enough, this is my second worst album from Papa Roach, as the latter takes that first spot. Definitely could have done without this album.
Oh, whatever for you. When you first shot your shot, I knew you would be the one to hit the spot. Only you can.
I do not enjoy this project as much as Vince Staples' other albums in his discography. What turned me off so much about it was his very monotone delivery, as after a while it just does get kinda old. But high spots of the album is definitely in the production. I enjoy the samples, I thought that Vince capitalizes on it decent enough, but there are way too many issues with Vince's voice which just don't match the swagger and cadence that was on projects such as his self-titled and Big Fish Theory, and not to mention not as well structured as those two other projects. It's a very significant drop in quality.
Understand I probably ran out of chances, but I'm a good, I weigh the bag, you should measure. I got too much pride.
Wasn't too familiar with Blxst before his 2021 XXL freestyle, and I don't have a lot to say about it besides that he has a very nice singing voice and his mix of rap and R&B does add a sort of mid-2000s nostalgia feel, and he does have a lot of melodic and slower bassy instrumentals mixed with a soulful delivery. Is a big note about this album because that's basically what it is. No underlying story, it's just a decent R&B project.
Playing echo deaf
This album's so fucking good. Northlane I wasn't too familiar with either, but I gotta say that this has to be one of the best metal albums of the year. Northlane's style of melodic and progressive metal is pushed to its boundaries on Obsidian. I mean, the vocalists are surprisingly better than what I expected, able to hit very high vocal notes while pushing some harsh deliveries between one another, not to mention the absolutely great instrumentation and arrangement from the drummers and the guitarists and the programmers, and the production is just top notch on this project. It's maybe an hour long, but it takes you on a journey throughout and you do not get bored, but just get excited to keep going. The electronic elements are almost like the cherry on top of the cake because they are utilized as expertly as the guitars are, and also the catchiness that some of the songs have. I mean, I've had My Love Innamorada stuck in my head for like a week now. I cannot help but recommend this project enough.
Look, see green like Don Bishop. The ones you trust don't change like them chains you took.
Pusha T must be starving because he sounds positively hungry on this project, and he just absolutely floats on a lot of the tracks such as Brambleton, Let the Smokers Shine, and Just So You Remember. Pusha is just overconfident and spitting some clever one-liners and rhyme schemes that just continue to show his impact on hip-hop in the past decade. And it seems like every time Pusha has Ye on a track or vice versa, they just make magic. Dreaming of the Past is such a wonderful sample that's mixed in with Ye's verse that just makes a super unique track to both of them personally, or them Rock and Roll but add Kid Cudi and some Kids See Ghost production. But my problem with the album is that it kinda does lose its touch as it continues, and it just seems very lopsided. I would say after Scrape It Off was when I stopped caring, but I do think that the Go light for the album lights up brighter than the Stop light, if you know what I mean.
Wrestle 2 bands for the title shot. Kamikaze in a plane, baby, sayonara.
Honestly, every Action Bronson album I've ever listened to I've had the same reaction to. Letting Action Bronson just absolutely be himself and have just full control just makes for some hilarious lines, clever jokes, and natural swagger that Action Bronson has. And so many memorable lyrics that I've been trying to forget because of how much I've said them. This one is a definitely fun mixtape for the summer. It will give you a lot of positivity just hearing them talk about giving a rock bottom to someone through a table with chicken wings flying in the air, or talking about the AIDS on Magic Johnson's dick. I swear with context those lines are a lot more funny. I mean, it's alright. Dorothy has a nice voice and the guitar work is quite professional, but nothing really caught my eye to want to listen to it again.
Single birthday on another private location. Valentine's Day the worst, they got too many to please. Spent over 100.
This is definitely an overrated and overhyped album, but can we be honest? What did we really expect from Future? Granted, I was sort of excited for it. I mean, Future was now dropping a new project and we did need some more dope stoner bangers, but even then, this album has a full identity crisis, not to mention Future is more perked out than ever, and you also can't understand him half of the time, even with lyrics in front of you. I mean, 22 songs and I only like 4 of them. I'm gonna sound like a broken record, but I'm tired of this quantity over quality that most rap albums have nowadays. Obviously not every rap album, as I've mentioned in my numerous reviews over the years, but it's almost like a laundry scheme for these rappers just to be shitting out an album and not putting any work behind it.
Could I say, I knew that it would go this way, could you blame it on fate?
Kehlani comes back with an album that I believe is her best to date. It Was Good Until It Wasn't was a decent enough project for the year, but conceptually, I do not think it was as well organized or as well performed as Blue Water Road, and not to mention that sort of commercial hype that surrounded that album kinda damaged it in my eyes too. But thank God this album came back and it's actually better than the former. Improved songwriting from Kehlani as well, tackling subjects of figuring out your sexuality, motherhood, and wanting to get over your fears as an individual. And despite a few tracks I didn't care for at all, her voice is always a big highlight just to hear, so if you like R&B/pop rap, you'll definitely like this project.